Welcome back to the Takeout. Welcome to the Conversation Corner. Health experts, I know that's a loaded term in these contemporary political times, and some Republican lawmakers taking issue with the administration's new position that Tylenol used during pregnancy could contribute to autism. Here was the president on that matter Monday at the White House.
Taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
Administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, joins me now. Dr. Oz, great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Synthesize for my audience what the federal advice here is on this. Is it to never take Tylenol under any circumstance?
Categorically, no.
Okay.
The advice actually that the president gave in that little piece is pretty accurate. If you've got a high fever, if you've got big problems that are worrisome to you, and hopefully you'll contact your doctor if that's the case, they're going to tell you to take Tylenol for the fever because we don't have a lot of the other options, and the fever itself could be a problem. The concern here is that I believe most women get low-grade fevers, they stub their toe, they have little aches and pains, and they think it's perfectly safe to throw a couple paracetamol or acetaminophen or Tylenol when they're pregnant, and I don't think that's the case. And here's the real question, Major. If you're where we are right now, and the president charged us to find out what's going on with autism, why is it we have 5 times more autistic children than we had 25 years ago, which is clearly not genetic? There's something environmental happening.
From your opinion, it's clearly not genetic.
It couldn't shift 5-fold in 25 years. Genes don't do that.
Is any of that related to a more precise or expanded definition of what autism is, meaning the spectrum enlarged, and children who might not have fallen into that categorization, say 15 years ago, now fall into it?
I'll grant you there's a possible creep there, but let me ask you a question, because we're probably similar in age. How many children in your class or in your environment, your neighborhood, had autism when you were growing up?
I didn't know any.
I didn't know any either. Secretary Kennedy often recounts that he's never known anybody to his age group. And so where are all the 60, 70-year-old autistic people? There seems to have actually been a real change. And then the question is, what gives? What's going down? And when we were asked to look into this, we broke the silos down between the FDA, Martin McCary, who's been on the show many times, Jay Bhattacharya, NIH, myself at CMS, and we did the best we could to figure out, looking at the best science out there, what are the clues? And we figured 2 out. Now, there are going to be more. This is evolving.
And these are clues, not conclusions.
Signals. These are things that we believe that if you're fully transparent about, you'll rebuild trust with the American people. Just tell people what you know, like a doctor.
The 2 clues are?
That we believe that kids with autism spectrum disorder have a problem getting folate into their brain in some cases. That's a problem that could be treated with a medication that's a prescription drug that a doctor has to prescribe for you by definition called leucovorin. FDA is going to change the label on this drug over the next few weeks that will free up state Medicaid and CHIP services, which they insure most kids in America, to allow children and their moms to get access to this medication.
Because there's some small data sets that say this could be helpful. Leucovorin.
There are about 250 kids in different trials. But that's the key question is, if you, as a researcher on those trials, had a child, would you give that child leucovorin? And when I asked the doctors involved in those trials, they said yes. In fact, academic centers who are researching this, I got the same answer. So we don't have all the answers, but we feel obliged to tell the American people this, and who really was passionate about this is President Trump. He said, if we know this is a possible tool, why would we not tell the American people? Tylenol, same story. The Tylenol issue is whether or not we should warn moms who are pregnant today about a problem that we may not know fully the answer to. Is Tylenol a problem during pregnancy for another 5 years? Well, what about the kid today? Are you going to take the Tylenol or not? And I think the best prudent answer is, of course, take it if a doctor says you need it. But don't take it on your own without thinking twice about it.
Respond to this. This is something that came from the Coalition of Autism Scientists, saying, it alarms us researchers, meaning what the president said, who have committed our entire careers to better understanding autism. The data cited do not support the claim that Tylenol causes autism and leucovorin is a cure, and only stoke fear and falsely suggest hope when there is no simple answer.
They believe that we should keep secret these clues until we have all the definitive studies done. I'm an academic doctor. I was a professor at Columbia University, now emeritus. Jay was a professor at Hopkins, at Stanford. Marty, a professor at Hopkins. These are 3 top-tier institutions, all of us tenured faculty. I know what academic research is. But what are you going to do with the mom right now? In our moment of need, we cannot be surrounded by intellectuals. You have to have people who can make decisions, people of action. The president said, I will not wait one more day if we have a clue that the researchers themselves believe would change their actions. And so we're guarded in saying we don't have all the answers. But if it's my family, I'm not going to have my pregnant daughter take acetaminophen if she doesn't need to be on it without certainly talking to a doctor about it. And if I have a child that's autistic, I'm going to try this prescription drug, leucovorin. Try it for 3 months. If there's an improvement, keep going. If no improvement, stop it. These are the research tools that we have developed. We've written about it, and we've published it.
And you believe, Dr. Oz, this provides clarity, does not add to confusion?
If people want to be confused, it's easier to find a path to get there. I come on shows like yours because I think what I'm saying is understandable. There are political reasons why people don't want to understand it, and I want to highlight this reality. If you mix politics and medicine, you know what you get? Politics. You kill medicine. This is not to be a politicized issue. Let me ask you the big question, Major. Why would the president talk about this? There's no political benefit to him. He did it because he cares deeply about these children, and he doesn't want the American people hurt. And most importantly, he wants to be transparent about what we know, which is why he sent us out there, knowing that it's 5 years before we have the final answers that those researchers who are looking for the ultimate perfect result are expecting. But as a surgeon, you have to act in the moment. That's what we did.